Here we go. Here we go.
Woo, baby. What's going on, kids? Hope everybody had a great weekend. We are now in the, I guess, Tony, we can say officially, we are in the holiday season. I think it's official. We got Thanksgiving in a couple of days. And just to greet you guys and kind of give you the roadmap for the week, it will be a little bit of a different week. We are going to obviously do a show today. We're going to do a show tomorrow. And then we're going to go dark Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Everyone kind of, flee back to your neutral corner and enjoy. Oh, look at this, dude. Okay. Thank you, Tony. I like that, man. I didn't know
This is StreamYard doing.
Go back one. I like that one with the gold. Go back. Yeah, dude. I like this guy. Leave this dude right there.
I don't know, man.
That's great. Hey, Creative Tony. Hey, Creative Tony and I had quite the eventful weekend. We were out at the Irish Cultural Center in the Sunset. Holy yes, dude. Holy yes. Tommy Peralta came, and we were, Tony, ringside, okay? Yes. Ringside for the San Francisco Fire Department boxing the San Francisco Police Department. They were like, yeah, there you go. Charity boxing, fights in the fog, man. What a great time. I want to thank the mayor's office. How about that? You want prestige? Tony, I'd like to thank the mayor's office, but I really would. I'd like to thank the mayor's office. I'd like to thank San Francisco's finest, the SFPD and the SF Fire Department. You guys are amazing. And they were just beating the holy hell out of each other, bout after bout, 3-round bouts. And Tony and I were right there broadcasting for the internet, and because I guess this thing was out on a YouTube channel, and we had a great time. So, Tony, we'll recap that. We'll talk about the Christmas party coming up for the PMP Familia on December 5th. That'll be a week from this Friday. We'll also have hot and sour updates. We got to set the stage for the Niners. And, Tony, right out of the gate today, we have what I'll call a very special guest, and I'm going to have you kind of help me set the table. And first, how's my man? How you doing, T? How was your weekend? How you doing overall? How's everything?
I'm good, man. Yeah, it was a spirited weekend is a good way to put it. And I'd like to just say, Colts, what the hell? What the hell?
Let me help you. Let me get Grodin involved in that to punctuate your point. I got Charles Grodin right here.
What the hell? What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Up 20-9 and you lose the ball game. We can talk about that later on in the show. But yeah, the fight night was phenomenal in San Francisco. God, I think it was like 1,200 people there, sold out venue. And then
I didn't know what I was walking into. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. What I envisioned in my mind was totally different. By the way, dude, Sunset's finest. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude,
if you're looking for the real San Francisco, by all means, head out to the Irish Cultural Center in the Sunset. There's the real San Francisco. Tony, holy yes. I was afraid of everybody in that room. Let me just tell you that right now. Every single man and woman in that room, I'm looking around. I'm like, every single one of these people could kick my ass if it comes down to it. So, Tony, I had appropriate fear at the Cultural Center. I'm just letting you know.
100%. And my brother-in-law had a great line. He said, dude, welcome to the safest place in San Francisco tonight, because literally all of law enforcement was basically in this room that night. But these guys would get into the ring and they'd want to tear each other's heads off because of the bragging rights that comes with beating your crosstown or your cross your fire department versus police department bragging rights, basically, is what it ends up being. And these guys would get in the ring and try and tear each other's heads off. And Paulie and I were doing the play-by-play. By the way, if you want to check it out, Fights in the Fog on YouTube. That's our YouTube channel. Fights in the Fog. You can check it out. Paulie and I did play-by-play. And we'll show a video later on in the show as well.
And I want to say, Tony, not only did we do our first ever play-by-play commentary for a boxing match, multiple boxing matches, Creative Tony also got multiple rat references into the broadcast. At one point, Tony leaned over, and again, we had mics and headphones, and Tony goes, boy, that was some shot right between the eyes. Shout out Stephen Piercy. And we had all kinds of typical PMP references throughout. We had a great time. But anyway, that was awesome. Now, Tony, today, we're going to start the show a little bit in an unusual usual fashion, we generally like to bring guests in later in the show, but we have a VIP special guest today. We want to get to that gentleman nice and early, and that way we can set him free a little bit early as well. And speaking of setting free, final housekeeping thing, I have a hard out at 1:15 today, Tony. My services are needed at the Santa Rosa airport. Okay. I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah, my services, the limo services of Polymac are needed at the airport. So anyway, I'm out the door at 1:15. We're going to wrap it up a little early today. But in the meantime, Tony, set the stage. Let's talk about our special guest and let's welcome him.
Well, yeah, and we got to give Carlos de la Fuente, our main man, Carlos de la Fuente, Los D from Flex Funding. We got to give him all the props in the world because this was his idea.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And he said, you know what? I know Don most personally. Would you guys like to have him on the show? If we can, he's coming to San Francisco this coming weekend for the Fan Expo San Francisco. And both Paulie and I jumped at the opportunity, like, hell yes, we'd love to talk to Don most. So we said, let's try and work it out. And Don was so gracious with his time. He said, yeah, I'm available. We could do something Monday. Here we are Monday. By the way, here we are Monday as the Niners are about to play the Panthers this Monday night. What an action-packed Monday. But it's like, you know what? Let's start the week off in style.
Well, I was going to say, great job, T, setting the stage. So what we'll do is we'll talk to Don Most for a while. And if you're saying, who's Don Most? I know that name. Who is that? He's Ralph Malph from Happy Days, man. He's the great comic from Happy Days. So we're going to have him. He actually is involved in a singing career now. He has an event coming up in San Francisco. We want to talk about a Fan Expo event with Henry Winkler and other Happy Days kind of VIPs and Hall of Famers. So, but Tony, I wanted to let everybody know, after we say goodbye to Don Most, we will come back on and we're going to talk about Niners Carolina tonight. Set the stage for the Monday night game down at Levi Stadium. If you're going down there, have a great time, be safe. And in the meantime, Tony, if he's ready, I guess we'll open the door. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, one last thing I also want to do, and we can reflect on this later on in the show, or maybe Don Most might have some thoughts on the passing of one of my all-time favorite musicians, Jimmy Cliff, passed away this morning. So I just want to say rest in peace, Jimmy Cliff, and thank you so much for the incredible music of that you gave to all of us for decades.
Did you ever get a chance to see him live, Tony?
I saw him at one of our K-Fog private events in that little tiny room with like 50 people, and he was incredible. He was just incredible. Huge. You want to talk about an infectious smile that just takes over a room. He walks into a room and the energy just rises. He just uplifts everybody just from walking into a room. It was incredible.
I saw him, Tony. I saw Jimmy Cliff. Ready for this double bill? I mean, this is pretty incredible. I saw Jimmy Cliff and the Jerry Garcia Band at the Greek Theater in August of '89. And Jimmy Cliff came on stage with the Jerry Garcia Band, and they sang Under the Sun, Moon, and Stars. Ooh. And yeah, it was pretty amazing, I got to say. And also, Jerry covered a bunch of Jimmy Cliff songs. He covered Struggling Man, always one of my favorites. Dude, Struggling Man, who can't relate to that? Yeah. Struggling Man and Harder They Come, Harder They Fall. And then, of course, Under the Sun, Moon, and Stars. Yeah, rest in peace, Jimmy Cliff. That was a sad way to start the day. I saw the news too, Tony, and I know you're a big fan. So we dedicate the show to the memory of Jimmy Cliff, and all you Rasta boys and girls out there, you know how we do it, man. Just play the music. Keep those songs in the air. And speaking of songs in the air, let there be songs to fill the air. Tony, how about I rephrase that? Let there be Don Most songs to fill the air. And let's open the door and let him in. Let's meet Don Most, Tony.
There he is, Don Most. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Tony. Hey, Paulie.
Great to see you, man. First of all, let me just compliment you. You look fantastic. Amazing. What is what's the secret, man? How do you stay so good looking, for real?
Oh, I guess, doing what you love. I'm doing the music that I love, and I'm still doing a lot of acting. So I'm grateful to be able to keep doing it. And, and I'm living now in Colorado. It's a nice, healthy place to be. So those might be some of the factors, I guess. Well,
Don, let me bounce this theory off you and tell me what you think of this. This is a theory I've been kind of presenting to people over the years, because when I look at you, you can look around at other musicians. Like, look, perfect example is the Rolling Stones. Look at Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. Don, they're in their 80s, okay? These guys, they're in their freaking 80s. But when you go see the Stones, Mick Jagger is literally running around the stage. He's his acrobat. Yeah. So here's my theory. My theory is, if you stay plugged into music, if you sing music, perform music, just keep it as an integral part of your life. I think that might be the fountain of youth, Don. That's my theory.
You might have a great point there. I mean, it seems to be helping me in that regard. If you look at me, there are days, I wake up and and I feel my age, and I'm struggling to move in a nimble way, so to speak.
Yeah.
But then, you know, when I'm getting ready to do a show, and then I get on stage, it's like I'm, you know, 30 years younger all of a sudden. So I guess it's the adrenaline, but it's more than that. It's like you said, how music can affect you. You know, there's music therapy for people. I mean, it definitely has ties into things that I think more so than we even know about still, you know.
And how long have you been? I mean, we'll talk about your TV career and your acting endeavors as well, Don. But I'm curious to know how long you've been involved in music and how long you've been performing.
Well, the truth of the matter is, I was singing before I was acting. I was singing when I was 15 years old in an area of upstate New York, a resort area called the Catskill Mountains.
Oh yeah, sure.
And it was a big entertainment area, and I was singing in this nightclub review. I was 14, turning 15 that summer and we played all the hotels. So that was my first love, really. But then my focus really, I switched the next year. I really started getting into all the great movies. When I was 16, it was a renaissance time in the late 60s for films, and I became hooked. And then I started going to a different school for acting, and I put the music aside, knowing I'd get back to it one day. But then, you know, things got I got pretty busy with the acting, obviously. So it wasn't until, and I still did, I did musical theater, and I would perform, you know, at certain charity events or whatever. You know, I would sing, I would still do some singing. But it was about 10 years ago when I said, if I'm ever going to really get back to it in the way I've always wanted, I'd better start. And that's when I put a show together, and I started doing shows in LA in jazz clubs and New York jazz clubs and Chicago. And it was going great. So I just said, you know, if it's going, I'll just keep doing it. And I started doing in other parts of the country, and then got to record with an incredible producer and a big band, LA jazz musicians, top-notch guys. It's a CD called Demos Mostly Swinging, and it swings. And so that, and then I had a newer CD that I did in Nashville this time, and called New York High. Also a lot of the jazz standards, but mixed in a few from the classic rock era as well. So because I love that music too.
Yeah.
So and I had a show last night, this last night here near Boulder, Colorado, and I had a great 17-piece band behind me, and oh my God, I just, you know, I get as high as I can, as high as almost anything else, almost, not quite, but pretty high, and it was awesome. It was just great.
Wow. So Don, I appreciate you telling us this side of your life. A 17-piece orchestra. How often do you get to rehearse with them? And then how often do you guys gig? And do you come to the Bay Area? Because if you do, we need to know about it and make sure that we rally.
Oh, we'll be there. Oh
yeah. Oh, definitely. Well, the truth of the matter is, when I do, sometimes I go to a different city, and my musical director would send the charts. It's all the music's written out, you know, and he'd send them ahead to the musicians, and we would hardly get any rehearsal. I mean, maybe sometimes we'd have a rehearsal. Other times it would just be a sound check, and we'd go over the beginnings of a few songs. But these guys, if they're great readers, they just read the music, and it's like they've been playing it for months. Yeah, it's great. It blows my mind how great they can be. But with these guys, I rehearsed with them about a week ago. We ran down a bunch of the tunes, so it was good because it was real tight last night. And when it's that great, you know, like I said, it's almost nothing as good as it gets.
You're talking to two music junkies, Don, and you mentioned the classic rock genre. Can you give us a couple examples of something that you might include in your set or one of your sets?
Yeah, well, like last night, the band that backed me up, they sometimes do an entire show of Chicago. So I did a Chicago because it really goes with the band, you know, with the horns and all that.
Yeah.
So I did. Does anybody really know what time it is? That Chicago song. And then I did, for the very first time, I said, I got to do some more. So I saw that they had charts to some Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Nice.
So I did God Bless the Child. And that was, oh my God. Loved it. It was awesome.
Nice. What about
Yeah.
any Tower of Power? Would you ever do any Tower of Power? Because it's an Oakland band, famous
Oh,
Oakland
that's a
band.
good suggestion. I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm gonna have to check out their, their discography or whatever,
Yeah.
and see which ones hit me. That's a good
So,
idea.
Tony,
Nice.
we have a couple. So, Don, we have some questions from the audience, but let me get one more question for Don first, and then we can throw to the super questions. But so there's thinking about your kind of artistic, development in your lifetime. So when you were a kid, so you were born in the 50s, and I have to think that you were right in the sweet spot, like when the Beatles hit America and Beatlemania. So I guess my question is, what was the first kind of music that really got a hold of you as a kid? Like what grabbed you where you were like, ooh, this is something I need to get involved with? Like, what was that?
Well, the funny thing about it was it was the Great American Songbook. I saw the movie The Jolson Story when I was 9 years old,
Yeah.
and I went nuts over it. Watched it like 14 times because I lived in New York and they had $1 Million Movie on Channel 9.
Yes.
You could watch a movie twice every night during the week and 4 times Saturday, 4 times Sunday.
Nice.
So I watched it on a Tuesday night, and I was just totally captivated and like just crazy over it. And I watched it probably every time. And that's when I started listening on the radio to that kind of music. And I got a real education in the Great American Songbook with all the great, whether it be Sinatra or Nat King Cole and on Ella Fitzgerald and on and on.
Yeah.
I just loved that. And that's when I decided my parents got me to this school in New York where I learned, they taught that. And through that, I got picked to be part of that nightclub act. That's how that went down. But then I started, when I was in high school and especially in college, that's when I really started getting into, the music renaissance that was happening then too, in the, classic, what we call classic rock now, in the late 60s, early 70s. And so I love that music too. But the one that I really had passion for at the beginning was the music that I'm doing now. But that's why I'm integrating some classic rock, because, I love some of that music just almost as much, if not equal. Yeah.
Nice, Don. Nice. Our guest is Don Most today. Tony, let's show Don some of the questions from the audience so he can answer their questions. Those super.
Yeah, so Don, I was talking to you before the show about how, Paulie and I were radio lifers getting used to the visual medium, and what they can do, we can have a chat. Basically, the listeners and viewers can have a chat, and so they can add their own comments to the show. And so the first, we have a ton of comments going in. Carlos de la Fuente, as you know, Los D, he sends what's called a super comment, and he says, Don, you made us laugh and smile with your humor, and now you make us smile with your music. Thanks for making time for us, pal. Hope to see Morgan and you soon. So that's from Carlos de la Fuente.
Oh, Carlos, thanks so much. I appreciate that. And really, we're looking forward to seeing you and Sonia very soon, hopefully.
Yeah, Carlos de la Fuente, one of the greats. And he's basically, Don is on the show because of Carlos. This was Carlos's idea, and we said, heck yeah, we'd love to talk to Don. So following up on that, Don, we have we call her Patty from Napa. She's one of our dear friends and longtime listeners, and she says, welcome, Don. Don, you look great, and thank you, Los D. So that's from Patty from Napa.
Thank you, Patty. Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and then we have one of our dear friends. He calls himself NorCal Refrigeration, but his name is David Shanklin, and he has a question for you. He says, Don, he says, pinky or leather Tuscanero?
There we go. These are the questions. Yeah.
Leather.
Yeah.
I took leather out to the prom, so on the show.
Nice. Well, it's fine. We should ask some Happy Days questions too, because obviously most people would identify Don with his role on Happy Days as Ralph Malph. And I guess my first question about that whole part of your life, and it must have been such a wild ride for you, given the popularity of Happy Days. If you're too young to have been around when Happy Days was on, all I can tell you is it was a cultural phenomenon. It really was. There was really, cable TV hadn't really expanded yet. There was no HBO, there was no Showtime. So most of the country would watch the network shows, and Happy Days ruled the roost for years. So do you remember like your audition for the show? Like, and tell us about that. What was that like?
Yeah. I just come out, I'd been working in New York. After the singing, I was pursuing acting, and And I did a bunch of stuff in New York, a lot of commercials, mainly some small TV, because most of the TV and film was being done in LA at the time. So I went out there during the summer, right after my junior year, and I started getting some auditions, and I booked a couple of shows. Then I wound up staying out there for an extra 6 months, not going back for my senior year because things were going. And then I found out I had this audition for a new show about the 50s called Happy Days. And so I went in, met with two of the executive producers, and they called me back. And then I had to read Gary Marshall, who was our creator and exec producer, and a room full of about 10 other people, and I had to do a scene, and that went really well. And then they said, now you're going to do a screen test. And that was a day I'll never forget, because it was a tough day, and it was a long day. And I thought, by the way things happened, it's a long story, so I'm not going to get too deep into it.
Yeah.
But I'll just say that when it was over, I thought there's no chance in hell that they're going to cast me, because it was like everything was against me that day. It's hard to get into. But then my agent called and said, because I was auditioning for the role of Potsy, and so my agent said, no, you didn't get it, but they liked you so much in your screen test that they want to make a role for you and put you in the show. And there was a small part in the pilot episode, Ralph, and they said, we can make that a regular, and we want him. So that's how that happened. But I definitely remember my audition for
So and Ralph Malph, your character, Ralph Malph, was always like the comedic relief. Like, he was always there with the joke. His whole personality was based on comedy. And I guess I'd like to know, is that accurate in your real life too? Like, are you a comedy fan? Had you studied comedy prior? Because that became your identity on the show.
Yeah, I mean, in real life, I was diametrically the opposite.
See,
I was quiet. I was kind of shy, unless it was with my friends, But I was never the the class comedian. I knew a lot of people like that. Some of my friends, and I was like, a good audience for them. But I was not that guy. But what I loved about acting was playing all different kinds of roles. It was easier for me to play all different roles and not just myself. But I was so different than Ralph. But comedy, I grew up loving some of the greats. I mean, I would watch, Abbott and Costello, and in their movies and on their TV show, and W.C. Field and Groucho and on and on. So I was a big fan of those guys. So I think I sort of by osmosis learned a lot about comedy timing without even knowing it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tony.
Well, I wanted to say Don Most joins us, and Don, thanks again for taking the time. And by the way, you can, as you'll see on the crawl here at the bottom of the screen, Don will be here in San Francisco next weekend at Fan Expo San Francisco, and it'll be going on at Moscone Center. And you can get tickets at fanexpohq.com if you're interested in checking out Don. But also, Henry Winkler will be there as well, and so a bit of a Happy Days reunion. I wanted to ask you, Don, what was it like working with a young Henry Winkler, aka Arthur Fonzarelli, the Fonz?
Oh man, it was special. It was very special. I remember the first time I met Henry, and he was from New York, and he was he was so serious, and I don't know if he was staying in character, but there was a certain vibe that he projected that just drew you in. And then I remembered when we were doing the pilot episode, I just wanted, I'd be done for the day, but I'd stick around. I wanted to watch all the other actors, Tom Bosley, who's in the, and Ron Howard. Yeah. And I watched Henry's scene, and there was this one scene where we all went nuts because he created a magical moment in that pilot. And then working with him for the rest of the series is just utter joy. I mean, we all got along. Excuse me. We got along so great, and we were a family. And to watch him create that character, he's wonderful, wonderful actor, and nothing like the Fonz. Again, that situation, nothing like the character.
Yeah.
So and just the same with Anson Williams is also going to be at FanX, and it'll be a great reunion. And we all, and Ron Howard, Tom Bosley, Marion Ross, and Aaron Moran, God bless.
Yeah.
Just an amazing cast. And behind the scenes, Gary Marshall and our director, Jerry Paris, who was a comic genius. He was the director on the old Dick Van Dyke Show, played the next door neighbor. And so we were so lucky. But I'm looking forward. I've been seeing Henry and Anson, and even Ron came to one of these events a few months ago. It was the four of us, and it was a blast.
Oh, that must have been a hoot. Yeah. And real quick, Paulie, the family vibe really came through on screen. Just so you know, Don, for us viewers watching that show, you could tell that you all really did enjoy each other. But then you just brought up Anson Williams, aka Potsy, on Happy Days. And my question for you is, it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek one, but like Potsy did sang on the show, but like, did you ever talk to maybe the producers or the writers and say, hey, I'm a singer, get me singing on the show?
Yeah.
Absolutely, I did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I tell this story every time I do a show, because I say people come up to me after I do my show and they go, my guy, we didn't know you could sing like this. Why didn't you sing more on the show? Why did Potsy get to do all the singing? They ask me that and then I tell the story. I don't know if I have time to tell the whole story, but I did have a meeting. I set up a meeting with Gary Marshall, my manager, and I went in and I went, I lobbied big time. I told him my background. I went into the whole thing and saying, band can have more than one singer. They could have two singers. I mean, not just backup singing, but do lead singing too.
Sure. Yeah.
And, and then, so in a nutshell, after I went into this whole spiel, he's behind this big desk and he's thinking about it. And then he says, I can't imitate Gary that great, but he goes, if I was putting on a show and I needed a juggler, I wouldn't need two jugglers.
Yeah.
So that was it. It was over. Case closed. He was saying, we had established Potsy as the singer. Ralph was more the comedic guy. He didn't want to mess with it. He didn't. So that, but then they let me, every once in a while they gave me, there was 2 or 3 shows where I actually sang a song, but it wasn't a rock song. It was it was usually something different.
Yeah.
But so I tell that story, and then I say, Gary's up there now going, I should have let him sing.
Hey, he had the chance. Hey, Don, I want to ask one more Happy Days related question, and then I want to talk about the Fan Expo event you have coming up in San Francisco. But interestingly, on the show, I guess in the later years of Happy Days, I always thought it was really cool that Robin Williams, the great Robin Williams, was a recurring character on Happy Days as Mork from Ork. Like this was prior to him getting like his own sitcom and getting the whole thing. So what was it like to meet a young Robin Williams full of all that energy and talent? Yeah. And what was that experience like for you? Could you,
It was amazing. Everybody was like just in awe of what they were watching, because they had a hard time casting. It was an episode that turned out to be like a dream, but they introduced this character and then he got his own show from it.
Yeah.
But with everybody, they had trouble casting it. We didn't like the script. We thought it was kind of stupid, but somebody had suggested Robin for the part because they were having trouble, and he came down and I remember walking in to the stage for the rehearsal, and they were in the middle of a scene, and people are like going, wait, do you see this guy? He's unbelievable. Because he was playing this guy from another planet, and Robin would ad lib and come up with all kinds of crazy stuff. And I think he did some of it in his act, like an alien, he did. So he brought a lot of that, but then he would come up with things that, it was like he rewrote his part, and everyone was like, the writers were jotting it down, and, and the show went great. And then, by 3-4 days later, when we came back for the next week's show, we were like, oh, Robin's got his own show now. It happened. Right. It happened like that. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Hey, Don, another question. One of my favorites on Happy Days was Arnold, played by Pat Morita.
Pat Morita.
Yeah, and what was it like working with him? Because I've always been a fan of his, and of course the Karate Kid series I fell for
Oh
immediately. But
God,
also
yes.
Arnold, was he a good guy?
A great guy, a
Yeah.
sweetheart,
Yeah.
just a sweetheart of a guy, and so much fun to work with, to watch him. Yeah, Pat and I would sometimes, after the dress rehearsal before we would do a show on Friday night, we would have dinner, and usually at the commissary, but sometimes we'd go. There was a restaurant right outside of Paramount Studios, and Pat would say, "Hey, you want to go, go for dinner?" So I'd go out to have dinner with Pat a few times, and oh man, I just loved it. And once in a while we might even have a shot or two, with dinner.
Sure.
And so it was great getting to know him off camera. But I was sad to see him because he had his own show. He got offered his own show, so he was only with us. I don't know, was it 2 seasons? But then Al Molinaro came on, and Al was a sweetheart too. And wonderful. Yeah.
No question.
Well, Don, this is a great conversation, man. We do appreciate your time. But before we say goodbye today, let's tell the audience about what you have coming up in San Francisco for this Fan Expo. And like Tony said earlier, Henry Winkler will be there, Anson Williams. So a little reunion of sorts. Tell the audience about this.
Yeah, it starts Friday, I think 4 p.m. There's going to be a whole bunch of other, celebrities, actors, and people that are, you'll know. And we'll be meeting people, taking selfies with them, signing, autographs, pictures, all that kind of stuff. And they might have some panels. Usually at these events they do where be like a Q&A in a little theater setting. So it's usually a lot of fun, just a lot of fun. And so it's all through the weekend. But I think 4 p.m. on Friday. But I do want to quickly mention people that also watch a new movie that I have out, and it's streaming on Amazon.
Yeah.
Completely different role. Completely based on a true story during the Prohibition in Michigan. Ooh. And there was a vicious mob that was controlling most of the liquor coming in from Canada. And they were vicious, feared. Al Capone didn't mess with them. And it was a gang called the Purple Gang. Yeah. And it was a Jewish mob. And I played the head of the Jewish mob, Ray Bernstein. Nice. So it's so different. It's called Harson's Island Revenge. It just came out, a couple weeks ago, so people could check that out.
How'd you like playing a mobster? You move over Tony Soprano, here comes Don Most. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a eye opener. People are pretty surprised, but I've been getting great feedback, and I'm pretty excited about this one.
Well, thanks, Don. We appreciate it, man. And we'll check the film out on Amazon. And also want to ask our audience to definitely go to the Moscone Center this weekend and support Don. Say hello to Don. Shake Henry Winkler's hand. And Tony, final thoughts, and then we'll let Don get on with his day. Go ahead, buddy.
I just got to ask Don about one part of your career where you guested on Chips. Paulie and I are both big Chips fans.
Oh, yeah.
So what was it like working with those guys on Chips? Because I loved that show as well. And and I believe you played a role about like a rock and roller, right? It was
I played a guy. It was sort of modeled after Kiss, I had all the the face makeup and a wig and this outfit, and it was a character called Moloch.
That's right, Moloch. Yes,
and it was like devil worship. I was singing a song about devil take me and all this. So quite another departure.
Yes,
but it was a blast doing that. I didn't get to work with the guys too much because it was mainly, but a little bit with Eric, and he was great. He was great to work with. Larry, I didn't have too much to do with on that episode, but yeah, a lot of people asked me about that. I'm surprised, how much impression it seemed to make on a lot of the fans.
Great call, Tony. Great call. I actually remember that episode. I really do. I remember that episode of Chips 100%. So, hey, Don, listen, man, keep performing the music, stay young, stay healthy, and
thank you.
Keep it up, man. We'll connect again. Yeah, we'll connect again down the road, Don. Have a nice Thanksgiving, too.
Thank you. You too. Tony, you as well. Great meeting you guys.
Don, thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. And we will continue to promote the expo this week. And again, we'll follow you online, and when you come to the Bay Area, we will come see you perform. Because
I hope
would love to
so.
see you with
For sure.
with the
Yeah, I
jazz
hope
orchestra.
so.
Oh, it'd
I'd
be
love
fantastic.
for that to happen. That would be awesome.
All right, Don.
Great.
Thank you
God
so
bless,
much.
Don. Be
Take
well.
care.
Take care, my friend.
You too, guys.
All right,
take
man.
care,
There he goes.
Don.
Tom Most, everybody. What a great guy, man. I got to tell you, Tony, he looks amazing. I
Amazing.
hope to even have like a percentage of his good looks when I get well, I'm not that far off. I shouldn't talk. I'm like a couple of years younger than him. Not much really. But anyway, he looks great. And what a cool conversation. I got to tell you, I don't want to like get too overly complimentary, but Tony, the magnitude of Happy Days when they were at their peak, it's hard for kids to understand today because there are no TV shows like that grab hold of the whole country. But Happy Days is one of those shows. Tony, I had the Fonzie lunchbox. I had a Fonzie freaking poster. You know, I've seen every episode. I don't want to like fanboy out too much in front of him, but it's pretty cool talking to Donnie Most, Ralph Malph, man.
Same. When Los suggested this, by the way, thank you, Carlos.
Yeah, and we should tell the audience. Sorry, Tony, just real quick. Tony's right. Los D, our great friend and sponsor, he texted out of nowhere the other day. He's like, hey, you guys want to talk to Don Most on the show? I'm like, yeah. 100%. I want to talk to Don. I don't even need any background. Just get him on the show. Done. Right. So thank you, Carlos. Thanks, bro. Yeah.
But also, like, for me, Paulie, Ralph Malph was kind of like my first experience with like a true jackass. Like he was like a total jackass.
Well, he used to do that thing all the time. I still got it. I still got it. He would like tell a joke and be like, hey, I still got it. And then the other one, I remember Murph used to talk about this all the time, that there was like a high school basketball episode where Richie was like missing free throws or something, missing clutch free throws. And at one point, like the coach of the team is like, all right, Ralph Malph, get in there and play some defense. And Malph like takes off his sweatsuit, his warm-up suit, dude, and he's fully dressed in jeans and a button down. And he's like, coach, I never play. I didn't think I was going to go in. He's not even dressed. He's wearing his jeans. Anyway, yeah.
Yes, the best. It makes me want to take a deep dive back into the show, which I probably will. You know, and talking to him before the show, he joined us earlier just to make sure that everything, he wanted to just test everything, what a
sweetheart. What a sweet guy, man. Yeah.
But he was like, we were just talking about the simpler times media wise when Happy Days was on. You mentioned at the beginning of the interview about how, you had your network television and that's what everybody watched. And then Don Most talks about this movie that he said they replayed it like 8 times throughout the week. That would never work today because of the short attention spans of the younger generation. It would never. We mean the same movie. This is the 8th time it's on this week. No chance. So I just appreciate all of that. And he said the same thing. And so it was just a great time.
I also remember, Tony, I can actually remember this, man. When we were kids, it used to go, I don't remember what night of the week Happy Days was on, but I remember when they would show the new ones, it would be like Happy Days at 8 o'clock. And then, Tony, the 1-2 punch, Laverne and Shirley, 8:30. Yep. And sometimes there'd be crossover. Sometimes, like, Fonzie would be on Laverne and Shirley, or Laverne and Shirley would come on the Happy Days crew and everything. So, yeah, it was just part. It was a huge part of growing up when Tony and I were kids. I don't know how many of you are in our age group, but for us, it was like a massive thing. And by the way, shout out to Mike Val in San Francisco. What's up, Mike Val? He noticed the Jimi Hendrix record behind me, and he goes, "Dude, that Hendrix record, I've listened to it 1,000 times." Nice. Me and you, bro. Me and you both, Mike Val. Between the two of us, we got 2,000 spins on Are You Experienced? 100%. Tony, go ahead, buddy.
By the way, Paulie, you mentioned Laverne and Shirley. All I have to say to that is Schlemiel, Schlemazel,
Haas and Pfeffer Incorporated. Yeah, we're gonna do it. Give a city chance, we'll take it. Yeah, absolutely, dude. I was Laverne and Shirley. Remember, Laverne always had the L, dude. She always had the L on the clothing. She had an L on every sweater. We got a couple more supers too, Tony. You want to take care of those guys, and we can do. Okay, go ahead, buddy. Yeah,
I do, but I have to show you something because I'm so glad that like he didn't have a problem talking about the Chips episode because I want to share.
Great poll, by the way. Great poll. Yeah,
dude. There he is. There's Don Most as Moloch. Yeah, the hard rocker.
Listen, I can't love that enough. I really can't love that enough, dude. And I also love a concerned Eric Estrada right at his side. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible, dude. I just got to get that closer. Oh, there we go. My goodness. And I love that you said it was based on Kiss, because absolutely. It was 1980. The episode was 1982. I looked it up. I'm like, God, I remember that episode. I remember that because I was 9 years old when that came out. It makes sense that it would be Kiss. So great stuff. Don Most, incredible guest. Carlos De La Fuente, thanks again for setting that up, Paulie. It was so much fun. And if you missed it, if you're just joining the show now, go back to our YouTube channel later today at Polymax Particles. You can catch up on it. Really good stuff.
I want to say, thank you, Tony. Great job there bringing that up, bro. And I swear to God, I actually do remember that episode. I remember that with the Kiss.
Yeah.
With Donnie. I didn't remember that it was Donnie Most, but I do remember they had like this kind of Kiss thing happening one episode. Tony, I want to give some love to Longbridge Pizza. And then look at you with a hand gesture. What do you got? You raised that hand at me. What do you got? What?
It's business time.
Stand by, Paulie. We'll do some supers first.
Yeah,
we got Patty Finappa checking in again. She says, I might hit up the expo.
Yeah.
If so, I'll definitely go for a photo op and say hello. Patty, you definitely should. Fan Expo San Francisco is what it's called, and it's at the Moscone Center starting Friday through Sunday this coming weekend. So yeah, celebrate post-Thanksgiving, this whole weekend. And he said it's going to be Happy Days reunion with Anson Williams, a.k.a. Potsy, Henry Winkler, the Fonz, and Don Most. They're all going to be there, so it's going to be great. And if you go to fanexpohq.com, you can see all of the guests that will be there. And for more information and tickets, you can go to fanexpohq.com.
God bless. And Tony, I'm with you. I want to go to Donnie Most when he comes to town to sing. Dude, we're right there in the front row, dude. We're in the front row. Just
get him to Yoshi's or something,
dude. I might jump on stage and just jump right off, like stage dive. You know what I mean? Like he's in the middle of a ballad. I'm up there just jumping into tables. Hey, Tony, any other supers or do we go? Okay, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
Escobar is a super. Hope you had a great birthday weekend, Escobar. He says, remember Happy Days is where we get the saying, jump the shark. That's right. Because Fonzie literally jumps the shark.
In his leather jacket. Okay. Bathing suit. Leather jacket, bathing suit, leather jacket, trunks and leather. Yeah.
And in typical Escobar fashion, he says hashtag smash the like button. Thank you, Escobar. He says hashtag defund the Chiefs, and he says LFG Niners. Let's go.
I know. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. We got to transition into some Niner talk, and we got to talk about this Brandon Aiyuk mess, and we'll do this. So let's do this, T. Let's do Longbridge Pizza. Talk some Niners, and then on the way out, I think Dom Peralta today has decided to forego his normal spot. He wants to talk about and I love this, Dom. Great instinct, bro. He wants to talk about the San Francisco Marin County Food Bank instead, and how they are definitely open for contributions right now. In fact, Tony, you remember last year, this was the week. We hadn't even started the show yet. We were having all these meetings and talking about what we wanted to do, but we were kind of uploading one video a week. And Tony and I went to the SF Food Bank and we made a big donation. I remember we filmed our hot and sour pick at the food bank last year. And this was the week. That was a year ago, buddy. Look where we are now. A lot of growth in the PMP community.
Episode 215 today, Paulie. Episode 215. As Rod Brooks would say when we play dominoes, 215.
Yeah, 215.
Whenever he scored 15 points, he'd slam his elbow on the table and then smack the domino down and say, that's fitting. And then, maybe a curse word. Fitting.
Rod Brooks is a great follow on Twitter, by the way, too. You got to follow. Oh, by the way, dude, sorry. One last thing. Give me Aaron Kask real quick, and then we'll go.
Okay, good. I was going to show you that. You saw that. You saw it. Okay.
I'm sorry. You know what? I'm Tony. My bad. Stepping all over each other.
Let me do the audio. Yeah, let me for the audio version only. Let me just read the super real quick. Aaron Kask is a super. He says, "Paulie, how did you like the no quarter cover? And has Aiyuk got himself on Mount
Twatmore? Yeah, Mount Twatmore. Yeah, yes. The answer to that question is pretty much yes. He has. Him and Waters are going to get along great. They can complain about all the things they hate and how they've been disparaged over the years. By the way, both of them, multimillionaires, okay? Yeah. Multimillionaires with multiple homes. I mean, life is really tough for these guys. I mean, that's what I hate, a disgruntled multimillionaire. Yeah. I've said this so many times. Tony, you throw me $7 million. First of all, I won't blow it. And second of all, I'll be the happiest guy you've ever seen. I wouldn't complain about a thing. I wouldn't complain about anything. Brandon, you can't stop complaining, and neither can Waters. Waters, we banished Waters. We banished them.
What could Aiyuk's problem be?
Hold on. Tony, put a pin in that while we take care of some business. Can I get
you didn't answer Aaron Cass's question about Tool's cover of No Quarter. What did you think about Tool's cover of No Quarter?
Dude, me and you both. I can't put a sentence together today either. What's going on? Is it like the after effects of the fights in the fog? I'm not sure.
So.
I've been having a rough morning, dude. A rough morning, bumping into walls and stuff. I don't know what's going on today. Why are we so dysfunctional?
I lost my voice yesterday because you and I were screaming over the loud crowd for 3 straight hours at the SF Irish Cultural Center.
I got to tell you something, dude. So Tony's not kidding, and I'm going to go. I'm going to answer Aaron Cass's question in a second. We're going to do Longbridge. We're going to talk Niners, Aiyuk, and we're going to do it all. But Tony, I didn't tell you this yet, man. So first of all, you sent me that link yesterday of the whole fight with our commentary. Dude, holy yes. Dude, I started listening to some of that. So the problem was I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't hear. It was so loud in there.
And you were wearing headphones, and you still couldn't hear anything.
Was mayhem in that room, dude. And by the way, the temperature in the room was probably like 110 degrees, dude. Yeah. People were going crazy. By the way, Tony and I were having a couple of cocktails on the mic. Shout out to Big Ed Ryan, by the way, man. Tony's dad came rolling up. I let me tell you how much I love Big Ed. First of all, he looks great. Him and Donnie Moat should have a handsome off. Like, who looks better? You know what I mean? Because Big Ed is looking amazing. Anyway, he came up and he gave me a Manhattan. He gave Tony a Manhattan. Now, Tony is like Mr. Manhattan. I'm not that big of a cocktail guy. I will enjoy one sometimes, but I said, the hell with it. I'm drinking this. So, dude, drinking my Manhattan, and just to be heard, I was screaming so loud. And when I went back to I started listening to some of our broadcasts yesterday while I was watching football, and I was like, oh my God, dude, we're screaming. Tony's like, well, that one, you're like, that shot right there, Paulie, as Stephen Piercy would say, that was right between the eyes. I'm like, oh, dude. So we're like screaming rat. I hope the police department is cool with our hijinks. Were they okay with everything?
Yeah. Oh, dude, they loved it. Yeah. My brother-in-law, Rich Hunt, hat tip to Rich Hunt. He's the one who for the SFPD, he's set up the night with a bunch of other people's help as well, by the way. He's
Tony's sister Alyssa. I got Marcoletti coming out. By the way, the mug of a Marcoletti. I haven't seen his face until I'm a fan of the Marcoletti face, who is now not coaching at SI. I always forget. What is he doing?
No, he's coaching his girls in grammar school right now, but he coached at SI for a long time, basketball, and then he coached at San Francisco City College of San Francisco for a while too.
Marcoletti, this is Rob Marcoletti. He just got a grill on him, dude. He's got like a real San Francisco Irish kind of sunset. Well, I guess he's Italian though too, but he's got one of the all-time great faces. Okay, Aaron Cass. You want to know if I love that No Quarter, dude? I loved it. I listened to it twice. I listened to it right after the show, and I was making lunch, and I listened to it again on Saturday, and I liked it a lot. And I pulled it off of YouTube, and the YouTube version I found, somebody made some like artwork to accompany the song. So there were like all these spacey like landscapes and stuff. So I enjoyed it a lot. And I wanted to say, Aaron, you were great, dude. You were great on the show with us on Friday. So thanks for coming on. Thanks for supporting the show. And then literally, thank you for educating me on Tool. Like I said, they were a band that was always kind of out of my it was just like nobody ever like brought me to Tool, and I never found them on my own. Like I certainly was aware of them, and what I knew about Tool was they were great musicians, and that they were kind of like culty, kind of like Rush almost. Like, you know, they're not ultra mainstream, but they sell out arenas on their own because their fans are so loyal. So Aaron, you were awesome, man, and thank you for the time. How about you, T? What did you think of our guest music sponsor host on Friday, Aaron Cass?
Loved it, man. Yeah. Loved it. And Patty from Napa got the ball rolling with this whole idea of guest hosts / sponsors of the musical assignment. She debuted with the Eagles chat 2 weeks ago. Then Aaron comes on, and before the show, Paulie and I said, I don't know, about 10 minutes or so with Aaron or whatever. I mean, the conversation was so good. We went, I think, 30-40 minutes deep. And it was great because Aaron was so prepared with great Tool knowledge. Yeah. And then also Aaron's ability to riff away. So it was a lot of fun, Aaron. Thank you so much. And by the way, we have December 12th booked We have another sponsor for that, and we also have, I think, the first week of when we come back in January. Going to be the second Friday in January, or first Friday in January. One of those two. We have that booked as well for the musical sponsorship.
Thank you, Tony. No, that's great, and thank you guys for participating. And the only reason we don't have one on 12/5 Friday, December 5th, is because we have the party that day, and we'll be setting up. That's going to be. We're not going to do a show that day. It's going to be super busy, and Tony and I are both taking some time off at the end of the year in December. So but we'll continue to do this on a weekly basis, just letting you know why they're kind of spread out. And if you're in this, there's no like rhyme or reason. If you want to guest sponsor the music assignment, just email your idea to paulyspod@gmail.com. And Tony, how's the link? Just one more time to walk them through the link to contribute to make their donation. And they access that tell them how to access that link, if you don't mind.
You go to our YouTube channel at Polymax Particles, and while you're there, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, that little icon. That's the like button. Give us a thumbs up. That helps the algorithm. That helps us, spread the word to more people about the show. And then also right below our bio, you can see the Eventbrite link, which is for to RSVP for our holiday frolic, which is on December 5th at Standard Deviant Brewing. Or you can click on the links tab, and on there you will see the link for PMP merchandise. And on there you can or actually, Dom, if you're on the chat, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a separate link, I apologize, for the musical assignment if you want to and also there's other options and ideas of sponsoring and guest hosting. If you want to guest host for the hot and sour picks, we've thrown that around. If you want to guest host for Tony's top 3. So it's not just the musical assignment we're going to explore in 2026. We're going to explore guest hosts for all these different benchmarks, we call them in the industry, to come on the show.
Yeah, then another one would be, we'll throw this out there too. It's kind of our newest feature, but we're doing that Studs and Duds Monday morning kind of review of somebody that accomplished something great over the weekend and somebody who was just a total jackass. And I do have one, and I do have one of each today, Tony. I might just do like a rush job. We'll get those out a little bit later. But first, and thank you once again, Aaron Kask. You were freaking awesome. Let's do Longbridge Pizza, our great sponsor, Longbridge Pizza, who again intimately involved in our Christmas party on December 5th, Standard Deviant Brewing, because Neil Donardi, our main man, he is going to be there feeding us. I mean, this guy, it's so funny, man. When Neil came down to the Brisbane Inn gig I played a couple of weeks ago, Tony was there too. Tony was playing great that night. Neil walked in with all these pizzas, and I'm like, dude, man, because I start to feel like almost bad after a while. I'm like, Neil, thank you so much. But I'm like, you don't have to do this. You don't have to like give pizza to everybody. And you know what he said? He was like, no. He's like, you don't get it, Pauly. He's like, this is what I do. This is what I do. Yeah. Like the way Tony and I, like what we do is we play music, we listen to music, we love the Niners. Like that's what we do. Neil's like, this is what I do. I love to feed people. So listen, he's got such a generous spirit. He's got such a great heart. South City product, which is pretty evident as soon as you like make his acquaintance, you'll see he's a great guy. And that's why they've set up this whole vibe down at Longbridge Pizza, 2347 3rd Street. It's the laid back vibe and the serious pizza. The combination of the two gets you in a really good spot. Greatest playlist you're ever going to hear of any musical accompaniment while you're having a meal is also at Longbridge Pizza, courtesy of Steven. You got Andre down there, the whole gang, Andrew Markoulis. These are just great people. We've gotten to know them over this first year of Polymac Particles, and I can't say enough good things. Where we have the broadcast with Tom Tolbert and Rod Brooks, myself, Creative Tony, that back room there, they can accommodate private parties and private groups. So if you like doing the whole CYO basketball thing, or you're coaching and you're like, where do I bring these kids? Bring them down to Longbridge after the game, man. Feed them down there. You can watch NFL football on the flat screens or Warrior games. And as Tony likes to remind you, Longbridge Pizza is a great destination before or after all Warrior games and Chase Center events, because it's literally right up the street, Tony.
Totally. And tomorrow, they're closed today. They're closed on Mondays, but tomorrow, as you can see with your own eyes, tomorrow is the Smack Stack Burger and chopped cheese. That's Neil Donardi smashing those things down. Yeah. So that's the Smack Stack Burger. Yeah. And they do that on every Tuesday, along with the chopped cheese. If you ask for the chopped cheese, that's by request only, but the Smack Stacks are available. And then Wednesday is the Gabagool, Vinny's Gabagool sandwich, which is a bunch of Italian cured meats and all kinds of goodness. And then also the chicken parm sandwich, which is fantastic. And then the Detroit style pizzas, the square pies on Thursdays, Pauly. And then pizza every day except for Monday.
Thank you, Tony. And thank you, Longbridge Pizza. We freaking love you. Have a great Thanksgiving, Neil. Really enjoy your family. Enjoy your daughter, your son. Just enjoy the family time. And look at my guy, dude. Look at my guy.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. God only knows what Thanksgiving's like in the Denardi house. He's probably got like 4 different ovens going. You know what I mean? He's probably, and I would assume Neil cooks. That's my guess, is that Neil probably does Thanksgiving. That's my guess.
So I invited Neil to the Fights in the Fog on Saturday night. He goes, can't do it, dude. I'd love to be there. I heard about the event. You guys talking about it. I'd love to be there, but I'm hosting the in-laws for a pre-Thanksgiving feast this past Saturday, and then he's doing his side of the family this Thursday on Thanksgiving. So
that's like the Italians, Tony. It's like a warm-up. You know what I mean? Let's have like a warm-up feast for the main event on Thursday. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yes.
Hey, Tony, what are your plans, by the way? What's your Thanksgiving? What's on your agenda, your docket, if you will? Tony, how's your docket? You know,
the docket is full, dude.
Yeah.
Both sides of the families, all over the peninsula, just popping in a couple of pop-ins, and then Megan's sister is hosting a big bash at their place on actual Thanksgiving night, so it'll be a good one, man. And it's and then just eating leftovers for the rest of the freaking weekend, just stuffing my face with leftovers. I am a stuffing junkie, dude. Give me more and more stuffing. Just
shout out Black Flag. Gimme some more. Yeah. That's
But
Tony
also,
with the stuffing. Yeah, gimme.
Have you ever had cornbread stuffing, dude?
I've had it all. I love cornbread stuffing, Tony. You're going to make me extremely hungry right now in the middle of a show. That's not going to be good for anybody. But I will tell you this. How about, can I hijack Tony's top 3 tomorrow? Can I put like an early request I want to hijack? I want to sponsor Tony's top 3. Paulie, you know what? I'm sponsoring Tony's top 3, and I'll tell you what it's going to be right now. I'm going to show you my hand, Tony. You can work on this tonight. I want to know, what are the top 3? And we can go item. Like we'll go down the checklist. 1, 2, 3. Your top 3 items, food items you find on the Thanksgiving table. That's the top 3 tomorrow.
Okay.
In order of greatness. Like, let's go reverse order. 3, 2, 1. Obviously, the bird will be a big one for most people, but you never know. That's why we're going to do this. Could be sweet potatoes, could be stuffing, like Tony said, maybe cornbread stuffing. You know what I like about stuffing, Tony, is that everyone has like their own little variations on it.
Yes.
Like everyone's got their little signature thing. My mom, let me tell you what my mom. So I'm going up to my mom's house. God bless her, on Thanksgiving. She's having the party up there. So my mom has been doing this her whole life. I don't know a lot of other people that do this, but she does. And Mom, do it again, because I freaking love this. I can't wait to eat this. She makes stuffing, and one of the little ingredients she throws in there are raisins. Raisins. Yeah. I'm saying, I'm just throwing it. Yeah. A couple of raisins in there. I know sausage is like sliced sausage is a big one too. You mix that in, but I'm telling you, the raisins are like my mom's little trademark. And once you eat them like that, you're gonna want to keep having the raisins. I'm just telling you.
Yeah. Right. And I don't disagree with that move at all. And I gotta give love to my brother-in-law, Jeff, Megan's brother-in-law. He deep fries the turkey in peanut oil, dude. So deep frying turkey in the peanut oil.
Let me ask you a quick question. Okay.
Sure.
Now, Tony, I saw you go, because you have been raving about the deep fried turkey for a long time. And I've never tried one, only because I've never been to a Thanksgiving where somebody's deep frying a turkey, but I would love that. Why does the peanut oil, does that affect, I assume that affects the flavor overall?
Dude, yes, the peanut oil is the best flavor, and it's the healthiest too option as well. And it's just the most flavor and the most healthiest, or the healthiest, excuse me. And once you go that route, it's hard to have a turkey any other way, because you have it, and the skin is crisp, and it's not crisp like a Christmas Vacation crisp, like remember when Clark bites it, the skin of the turkey, and it like snaps off in his mouth.
I've always been confused by that. What is he biting in that scene? What is that?
That's the skin of the turkey.
Yeah, it's like a potato chip. It like crunches when he eats it. Yeah.
Well, because it was destroyed in the oven. It was basically destroyed in the oven. But the deep fry, you got to be careful though, man, because there's a lot of flame around there and oil, and you got to be careful. You got to wear gloves.
People have burned down their houses doing this. Like, people are getting drunk and they're like trying to deep fry in the driveway. Next thing you know, like your redwood tree's on fire. You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
I'm not even kidding. I hear there's a lot of mishaps. It's a busy day for the fire department. Yeah.
You're talking propane. You're talking, a long coiled tube, basically, that goes to the the flame, and then the stand, and then the big huge vat where you dunk, and you gotta have hooks in the turkey and multiple hooks. And
You got hooked.
dude, and I was talking to somebody, a dear friend, and he was
Dude,
dude, seriously,
hooks.
you gotta have hooks, because that's how you lower it down and then pick it back up, you know.
What, like, what? Are you like lowering this thing down like with chain, like ropes, like, or how do you like? You got a guy with a rope.
No, you hook it on both sides and you lower it down.
Lower the
And
bird. Let's go. Like, you know, the construction site. All right, let's go. Lower the bird. Yeah, screaming. Yeah, yeah.
Totally, dude.
Yeah.
It's I mean, but once you go that route, man, it's tough to go back, because it's, oh man.
And what's the tube for? Wait, you mentioned a
No,
tube.
that's the coiled, that's like the coiled tube from the propane tank to the flame.
Don't your Vermont friends have a tune called Tube?
Oh, they do. It's one of their funkier ones, man.
Okay.
I love a good tube, And
I'll
if you ever,
surprise Tony with some songs. I'll surprise you with some songs. I'll throw a tube at you and see what you got.
anytime they want to jam out tube, look out, man, because it's going to be a fun one, because that's a boogie. That song is. Everybody is watching this show today. Do yourself a favor. Go just Google Fish Tube, Phish, by the way.
And if you can't do that, just do what Rags is saying. Just go to Spotify and search the Tubes, and then listen to She's a Beauty. Great track, by the way. Great track. Somebody forgive me for forgetting the name, but I did see a message on the comments line. Somebody was saying, we're talking about like how everyone has their own little trademarks on Thanksgiving. Like I talked about my mom with the raisins, Tony's doing the peanut oil fried turkey and all that. How about one of our viewers said his secret for the potatoes? This is very interesting. I've never even heard of this, but this has got my curiosity up, which is he boils his potatoes in chicken broth.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I don't know. I've never heard this, but I'm fascinated. You're saying, like it's old news. You're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I was talking to somebody over the weekend where they say they inject sriracha into the turkey before they deep fry it. And I was like, that.
People are injecting. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. I've heard that for real. Like people do. I've heard also people inject like butter. They melt butter and they inject the butter. It's crazy. Anyway, I can't wait. I'm getting very hungry through this conversation. And I'm also really, really, really looking forward to Cowboys Chiefs on Thanksgiving. Go Dallas, go. I'm telling you, you guys, you can beat the Chiefs. You can be, and the Colts should have beaten them yesterday. How'd you do on hot and sour? How'd you do?
Oh, sorry. Robot Centaur says, inject sriracha into my veins.
Shout out AC/DC. Inject the venom. Okay, if you know, inject the venom. It's on for those about to rock. John Joseph knows. John Joseph knows what I'm talking about. Yeah.
There was like a rave club song back in the 90s called Injected with a Poison. And it was like,
I kind of remember that, dude. I vaguely remember that. Yeah. Give me the vocal again.
Injected with a poison. And then
yeah. All right, Tony, real quick. Oh, hot and sour.
No. Yeah, hot and sour. I split. I went 1-1. I split because the freaking Seahawks, they were up by 13. They only won by 6. But the Seahawks, look out for the Seahawks, man, and look out for the Rams. Jesus Christ, the Rams.
I think the Rams might be the best team in football. Crazy as that is to say, I think that if the Rams, and by the way, based on what I saw from the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday, they don't look like they're ready to defend their Super Bowl crown. I mean,
I loved that win by
Dallas. I did too. A huge win for Dallas. Yeah.
I usually don't love wins by Dallas. By the Dallas Cowboys. And I got to give props to Noemi. She said over the weekend, or she said, because I texted Rags saying, hey, great win, Rags, and then Noemi says, she says, Rags has made it to the point where I don't loathe the Cowboys anymore.
Same here. Yeah, Rags will wear you down with his goodwill, his comedy, his love. Rags has a heart the size of like a boulder. You know what I mean? Yeah. Rags is like all heart. And like the more you get to spend any time with Rags, he'll wear you down. And suddenly you're almost like a little happy when something like yesterday happens. Cause I was happy for Rags. I actually texted him, Noemi, and I was like, dude, that was a huge win for you guys.
Dude, and watching the sourpuss and Sirianni walk into midfield, I'm like, dude, eat it all day. Eat it all day, Sirianni.
You and Fat Dom eat it all day. You know what I mean?
Or actually, in honor of Don Most and Henry Winkler, hey, sit on it.
Yeah,
How about
bro,
that?
dude, sit on one of my favorite put downs of all time. You know what? Why don't you go sit on it? All right, Tony.
Sit on it, dude. Sit on it. Come
I
on.
wanted to say I also went 1-1, which also gives me, here's what I'm going to call speed studs and duds today. Speed studs and duds. Because
Yes.
I split. I went 1-1. I won the Bears game. I lost the Raiders game. And never again, never, ever, ever, ever again will I hitch my star to the Raiders wagon. I'm never doing it again. I thought the Raiders would show a little bit of pride, a tiny bit of poise, just a little bit. And, you know, with a coach like Pete Carroll, it is obvious this team has turned the switch to the offsetting. I mean, I think this is a team that I don't see any evidence that this team gives a damn. I mean, Shedeur Sanders, and I was wrong. I want to apologize to this kid. I was wrong about Shedeur Sanders. I didn't think he was ready. I didn't think he was ready, and I thought the Raiders would be so pissed after they got embarrassed last week, but I was wrong. You know what? Shedeur Sanders rolls out there. Pretty nice debut for a first game in the NFL, first start. He went 11-20. Threw a touchdown pass, 209 yards. He threw one pick, but I thought Shedeur Sanders, all things considered, first week of practicing with the first team, thought he did pretty well. So I apologize to Shedeur. You impressed me, and I wanted to say, Tony, for my duds real quick. And by the way, the Raiders are so bad. Bye-bye, Chip Kelly. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
I don't know how that guy keeps getting gigs. He goes from high-profile gig to high-profile gig. He'll probably get another one, and then he'll be out of that place in a year or two. But my dud, real quick, Tony, my dud is Ja Morant. If you saw the effing BS he pulled with Klay Thompson on Friday night, I really got pissed off. I'm like, this kid clearly doesn't get – he was in street clothes,
Right,
antagonizing Klay Thompson, calling Klay Thompson a bum. This is a man with 4 rings.
right.
This is a man, Klay Thompson will be in the NBA Hall of Fame. Ja Morant will not. Ja Morant is not going to the Hall of Fame. And I'll tell you right now, Ja Morant will never win a ring. Take that to the bank. He will never win a ring. I guarantee it. He's not a winner. He's not a winner. In fact, he's a punk, and he is my dud of the weekend, Tony. Over to you now.
I love it. And yeah, double guns to Ja Morant.
Double
And
guns, triple guns. Yeah.
Double.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I could do triple, I would do triple. Okay.
Yeah.
Or how about 1, 2, 3? Okay, there's triple guns. But yeah, Paulie, I hear you on that. I did take Indy, so I did win that because it was plus 3.5. So Indianapolis covered, but they lost, but they were up 20-9.
Yeah.
How do you let that lead disappear? How do you just so they're my duds of the weekend. The Indianapolis Colts, especially the coaching staff. I mean, what the play calling, it's like I could not believe it, man. I just was so I wanted that Colts win. I wanted them just to win the game outright.
Yeah.
So badly. So they were my duds. And then, dude, my stud, I gotta tip my cap. And you know what? I'm going to show something in honor of this, just to tip my cap, because
this is, as Spicoli would say, Tony, this will be a little demonstration of that.
Yes, exactly. So if this guy has a quarterback who is my stud for the weekend,
Yeah.
Sean McVay's quarterback, Matthew Stafford, dude, he was throwing darts.
He looks as good. This might be the best season he's ever had. He looks amazing. What's he got now? Like 25 touchdowns and 2 picks on the year? It's insane.
No, I think it's like he's over 30. I think he might be it's close to 30. He had 25. I think he's close to 30, but he has not thrown an interception since week 3. And dude, his ball to Devontae Adams in the corner of the end zone, I mean, like over the shoulder,
Spectacular. Yep.
Perfectly thrown. Perfectly thrown ball.
Yep.
And then again, dude, I got to give kudos to the O-line of the Rams, giving Stafford all freaking day. Yeah, there were a couple of dropbacks. He had like 4 seconds to just sit back there and get comfortable and just check down.
And you can't do that with Matt Stafford. You can't give him that much time. He will destroy you. He will carve you up. Tony, great call. No, Matt Stafford he's probably going to win the MVP. Right now, he is out in front to win the MVP award, and it's deserved. And the Rams, I think the Rams might be on their way to something special. I do.
Oh God,
Much as it pains me to say that. Did you see McVay after the game, dude? Did you see his presser last night? McVay, you see him?
No, I just was thinking of this all weekend, so I didn't see the. What was he saying?
Oh, he was just thrilled. He was over the moon. Yeah, I really like the way the guys fought. You know, a lot of good fight today. Just all the usual McVay stuff. But my question is this:
by the way,
who's going to beat him?
real quick?
Sorry.
Well, no, Scarlet Fire asking on the chat. It's not my stud is not Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs went off, and I was debating Gibbs or Stafford, but Stafford just looked so good last night. His passes were so crisp, and they were darts. So, but Gibbs, 15 carries, 219 with 2 TDs, dude. In one of those runs, he just took off, and nobody could catch him. It's like, look at this guy just getting into it like a sixth gear, 6th speed. So the Lions, I mean, they squeaked out that win, but the Lions are going to be there. I feel, dude, and your Patriots, Paulie, your freaking Patriots.
My Patriots are going to be there too. But my question is, in the NFC, who's going to beat this Rams team? Honestly, I don't think there's anybody out there that can. If the Rams continue to play at this level, I don't know who's going to beat them. I just don't.
I don't know, but you got to love the fact that the Niners are one of their losses. You know,
and that was that's probably one of my favorite games of the year. Then watching it with Brent Jones and Brian Young certainly didn't help. All right, here it hurt. Tony, here's the thing. I'm on the clock. I have to drive to the airport. So here's what I want to do. We will end the spot with a San Francisco Marin County Food Bank effort, which Dom Peralta has endorsed. Thank you, Dom, for your charitable spirit and your generosity, and that not just for this, but everything you've done this year. And then, Tony, what I want to do is, obviously, tomorrow we'll do like an all-niner show. We'll go like start to finish with the game tonight. If you're going down there, have a great time. Send pictures into the show. We'll put them up tomorrow. But we'll do the review of the game tomorrow. But first, let's go. Can you show the link, Tony? I'm
trying to find it right now. Here we go.
Okay. So we like to say in the Polymac particle community, if you have a couple of extra bucks, this is the time to kind of tap into your generous side or your any extra thing you can share, because you got to remember there are a lot of people in our city and in the entire Bay Area that don't have anywhere to go. They don't have a Thanksgiving dinner to go to. They don't have a family to go to, and that breaks my heart. It really does. I always want to try to help people that are at a desperate point in their lives. So if you can even throw $5 in, man, throw a 10 spot in there, whatever you can do. And the fact that the PMP community generated $1,500 a couple of months ago, it's one of the most, I'm most proud of that, maybe as much as anything we've done this year, if not more. And so many of you stepped up to the plate. So Tony, if you could, this is from Don Peralta today, courtesy of Stellar Design and the great work that they do. How can the listeners make another donation, Tony, if they choose to do so or if they want to?
So this link is also at our links page on our YouTube channel at Polymax Particles. If you go to at Polymax Particles on YouTube, please click the like button and get that algorithm going, and then click the links tab, and you will see this as one of the links where you can click on it and make any donation, whether it's $5 or $50 or whatever, anything you can muster. Doesn't matter the amount, whatever you can muster, just to give back in the holidays, because like you said, Paulie, we don't want to have anybody hungry. And I love the work that these food banks do, and it's a lot of work, by the way. They're working crazy hours. They're working on the actual holidays to make sure that people get food. And so we want to help in that effort, and you guys have all helped in that effort so far. But if you could, during the holidays, doesn't have to be today, but anytime between now and the rest of the year. And Dom Peralta on the chat said he's working with the SF Marin Food Bank to see if they'll match our donations for the rest of the year, which they matched our donations. They don't. I think they did a 3-time match for this first drive that we did earlier this year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
but Dom's working with them to see if they can do any kind of match for the rest of the year. So we'll keep you posted on that. But if it's on the links tab, you can find it there and make a donation if you can.
Yeah, man, that's all. Thank you, Tony. Perfectly said. And thank you guys. Thanks to everybody in the PMP familia, the PMP army. You guys I've said this so many times, and I mean it with sincerity every time. You guys are the best audience in the Bay Area. That's across the board. Yep. I'm telling you right now, other shows wish they had the kind of support that you guys have shown us. And when we kind of try to launch a charitable event like this, you guys have answered the bell every time, and Tony and I certainly contribute as well. So thank you guys very much. And Tony, we'll do a proper show tomorrow. We'll review the Niner game, but I appreciate Don Peralta like foregoing his spot today and saying just pump up the food bank. Says a lot about your whole spirit, man.
That's freaking Dom. That's just Dom in a nutshell right there. Paulie.
By the way, Dom was ringside with us, Fights in the Fog. I had Dommy sitting right next to me, dude.
Hold on.
Utah, give me 2.
Yes, I know you had. On the way out, there's just a couple things I just want to show real quick on the way out because Dom sent us these, and we can show these again tomorrow, but this is very quick on the way out. This is from Saturday night. Just a couple of cool shots. That's the SF Irish Cultural Center, United Irish Cultural Center, that where we did the fights. But then look at these shots. Dom got a shot of one of the greatest boxing shoes you'll ever see in person with Niner socks. And then there's the venue right there. There's a good shot of the venue with the ring in the background. See that? And then you got the ring right there. And there's Irish Pat Lawler, pride of the Sunset District, Paulie. Irish Pat freaking Lawler. And there's you and I on the mic and Dom on the side. That's ringside. And that's you and I doing play-by-play for boxing, which is
you can already see that the hijinks are in full flight. Tony and I. Hey, but you know what? Tony, I'll tell you right now, dude. I look forward to doing this again next year.
Yes.
Let's do it again because this was only the second annual, so this is a fairly new event in the city. Historically speaking. So we'll do it again next year for the third annual. And I really did have a blast. And again, my hat is off to the San Francisco Fire Department, San Francisco Police Department. Those guys do the heavy lifting and trying to, do good by people in trouble throughout the city. So, all right, Tony, what are you doing? Last thing here.
Here we go real quick. This is some of the action.
Oh, these two guys, dude.
This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Fire them up on your feet. Let's go.
Yeah.
That was the main event. Those two dudes were like 280 pounds each. I mean,
they did. They had to stop a couple of the fights, and being that close, you could see the eyes of the fighters. Some of their eyes are like swimming around in their heads, and the ref would be like, "All right, that's it for that." All right, Tony, I got to start my 2 days of taxi service. I'm off to the Santa Rosa airport. If you're going to Santa Rosa, maybe I'll see you up there, and I'll see you again tomorrow because I got to go back again tomorrow. Tony, anyway, great show today. Go freaking Niners. Brandon Aiyuk, we didn't have time to examine his whole thing, but just know that I'm not happy. Tony's not happy. No Niner fan is happy with that ridiculous saga that's kind of unfolding with Brandon Aiyuk. I've had it with these divas. I've freaking had it. You don't want to be here. Go someplace else. Enjoy yourself. Hey, Debo, how's life as a commander? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How's that whole thing going? You're happy now? You happy playing for a sub 500 team? You got your wish. Brandon Aiyuk, you're next. Go find happiness wherever you want to. We got ball games to win, Tony. Yep. I'll take the guys I got. I'll take Pearsall. You know what I mean? I'll take Kittle. I'll take Purdy. Give me my Niners, and I need a win tonight too. Tony, I got to get going, so crossfade us out of here, buddy.
Niners win by at least 10 tonight, Paulie. That's all I got to say.
Nice.
Niners win by at least 10. Here we go.
Business hours are over, baby. It's business. It's business time.
Oh, that was a reprise of Class Dismissed for a second. Wrong button. But Paulie, I also want to thank Don Most for joining us today. Incredible guest hit from Don Most, a.k.a. Ralph Malf. Check him out at the Fan Expo San Francisco, fanexpohq.com if you're interested in going. Lots of good guests are going to be there all weekend long. But Henry Winkler, Anson Williams, Don Most will all be there for Happy Days reunion. And thank you to Carlos de la Fuente, Los D, for setting up that interview. It was great stuff.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Don Most. Thank you, Creative Tony. Well done today. And thank you, PMP Familia. We'll do it again tomorrow. Don't forget, Tony's top 3 favorite or most important food items on the table. I need your top 3. You can email those in. We'll go through everybody's. And again, this show today made me very, very hungry. I'm glad we got to touch base with Donnie Most. I want to talk more about peanut oil fried turkeys. We'll do all that tomorrow as we review the Niner game. Tony, I'll be texting you during the game. Never fear. I'll have a lot to say during the 4 quarters tonight. So have a great afternoon, everybody, and enjoy the ball game tonight. Go Niners. See you tomorrow at high noon, everybody. Peace, y'all.
Peace, y'all.